Alright, guys, back with another big ranking today. I'm going to rank all of the Star Wars live action TV shows. So, I'm going to do 7. There are 5 shows, but The Mandalorian has 3 seasons, so I'm going to treat that as 3 separate entities. No animation, so no Clone Wars, no Rebels, none of that. Nothing else except the live action Disney Plus shows. So, without further ado, let's get into it. Coming in at last, Mandalorian Season 3. This season of TV just really didn't do anything for me. I was totally disappointed by it, by the ending, by where it was going. You can tell, at least I could in real time, that the show just really had no direction. You can see, you can feel that this show was made because the executives wanted another season. You can tell they were not ready for it. You can tell they are not ready for an end goal. They're not really pushing for anything. It just felt very repetitive. I thought the ending, Moff Gideon coming back with a super, like a super suit and then dying, was really stupid. We got nods to like General Hux's father and some cloning stuff, but overall, I thought this was the worst season of TV that they've done. It's not automatic. I had to think about it, but this is what I landed on. Coming in at number 6, the Book of Boba Fett. This kills me to do. Boba Fett is my favorite character, probably in all of Star Wars. He's easily top 2 or top 3, but probably number 1. I could not wait for this show. We finally got him escaping the Sarlacc pit. I just couldn't believe how just crappy the show got. Those stupid kids on the speed bikers. A lot of the repetitive nature of the plot of him kind of going to the mayor. The mayor's not there. He goes back. He goes back. So there were a lot of really cool scenes like Black Chrysanthemum, getting another Wookiee. But it was just so much worse when we got the scene at the end of Mando season 2 of him kind of taking over Jabba the Hutt's palace. You're like, oh my god, the show's going to be so good. And it was just totally underwhelming. Was not the mob boss that we were promised. Was kind of just taking L's all over the season. I'm gonna give it another watch, but just was not the show that really anyone wanted. Big disappointment. I'm still hoping for season 2 because I still want to get a good version of the show, but this was not it. Coming in at number 5, Ahsoka. Another disappointment for me. I still got to get my finale review up, but this show, the finale was so underwhelming for me. Was totally mediocre. Ray Stevenson unfortunately passed away. He was by far the highlight of the show. I thought Ahsoka as a character was very mediocre in the show. Not really that exciting. Everyone's like, oh, she's stoic. She's been through a lot. Yeah, I don't think that's a good excuse, though. I kind of was holding off, but I think Rosario Dawson's portrayal, at least in this show, was very, very monotone. There needs to be more emotion. The Anakin Skywalker stuff is obviously very cool, and the Clone Wars flashbacks were cool. But it just doesn't look as cool as the prequels did. The prequels, if you watch Count Dooku fight, Yoda fight, I don't know if it's the CGI or what, they just look way better. I hated Sabine in this show. So the stuff with the Mortis gods at the end, I was really interested in. There's some really cool stuff, but overall the plot of the show was just very going in circles. We're kind of just, the Thrawn stuff was cool. There's really cool parts, but overall it's very choppy. It's not a smooth show. It's very up and down. So that's why I put that here. Number 4, Obi-Wan. Even though I have this in number 4, this show also disappointed me, unfortunately. There were some really, really good scenes, especially with Vader. But considering what they were going for in this show, this should have been one of my favorite TV shows of all time, and it's not even close. I haven't even gone back to watch it yet. It just has this very Disney Plus-ish look to it, where you kind of can just tell they're on a set. It doesn't feel or look like the movies. I don't know if they're not putting in enough money, if they're not putting in enough CGI or what, but they're just not executing these shows at a good enough pace, except for the 3 that I have ahead of this, which I love, but these are just very underwhelming. I thought, I forgot her name at this point, but the one of the Inquisitors who no one liked, I agree, she wasn't that good. I don't think she was the one who should have let Obi-Wan know that Anakin was still alive. So, just an underwhelming show. I thought it was slightly better than Ahsoka just because it had Darth Vader in it, but not by much. Coming in at number 3, Andor. I almost gave this my number 2 slot. It was very tough for me, but ultimately, it lands at number 3. I even consider number one a little bit, but I love this season of TV. I have no problem if anyone puts it number one. I disagree, but it's definitely in the top three for me. Go watch it. I know a lot of people haven't yet. It's definitely the most serious Star Wars, probably content ever made. Feels very different than other Star Wars shows. Obviously, there's no Jedi or Sith, but there's still a lot of Star Wars elements in it. There's a lot of cool stuff with with the spaceships. There's one scene specifically that I've never seen before. It's one of the coolest scenes of all of Star Wars involving a ship in space that takes place in the show. So overall, there's a lot of people who want Star Wars to kind of look like this going forward, and I agree. I love this show, so go watch it. Coming in at number two, Mandalorian Season 1. I almost put Andor here. This was a tough one, but ultimately I gave the nod to Mando Season 1. I just remember how I felt watching that first episode. I think I watched it at like 5 or 5:30 a.m. East Coast time before work. I got up early because I knew I wasn't going to make it through the day without watching it. And people forget, how new it was to wake up and see a Star Wars show on TV that was just a totally different concept. We're used to it. That was such a foreign concept at the time. And not only that, that first episode where we got Baby Yoda, I mean, that was really like a cultural moment. I think people tend to forget how good this was. It's almost become kind of like Iron Man 1 for the MCU. People forget how good it was at the time. But just an amazing season of TV all the way till the end. We ended with the Darksaber. So I love the season of TV. I go back to it a lot. And obviously, if you haven't seen it, go watch it. Taking over my number one top slot, The Mandalorian Season 2. This is a no-brainer for me. We end it with Luke Skywalker. We get the return of Boba Fett. We get Bo-Katan live-action debut. We get so much shit in this season. This is like Clone Wars, but live-action. This is what I want live-action Star Wars to be. I want it to be this, or I want it to be Andor, or a mix of them. But this was it firing on all cylinders. I absolutely love this show. Love the season of the show. Like I said, this is the best Boba Fett. It reminds me kind of like how the best Black Panther stuff is in Civil War, the best Boba Fett stuff is in Season 2. We get so much good stuff. We get the Slave One. We get so many cool ships. The prison sequence. The Luke episode at the end, I mean, is one of the best Star Wars episodes ever. So like I said, I would put Mando Season 1 I'd accept here. I'd accept Andor here. I would not accept anything else here. Anyone who says Ahsoka or Obi-Wan are the best shows, no way. And as much as it pains me, Boba Fett, I don't think you can say that's the best show either. So that's what I have at number 2. It's number 1. Alright guys, so those are my rankings. Let me know if you agree, disagree. I'm sure probably a lot of people disagree, but that's okay. Let me know in the comments. And as always, I'll see you in the next one.